everybody, it's Matt Rose, your favorite policy person for the Center for Black Equity. Today, I'm coming to you in a different vein. I thought I'd have a conversation with a smart public health friend of mine, as two, nerdy public health people, about what the hell is actually going on with monkeypox. You probably heard all kinds of stories. It's also Pride season, so you're not really looking for any new diseases to pop up. So I thought, he and I will talk. Hopefully you all learn some things about it. I will first at the top say, this is not a moment to panic. Do not think that this is COVID 2.0. We are going on lockdown. You trying to come in here and ruin all my fun. But like many things, especially being Black in America, it's good to be aware and be aware to make informed decisions. And so I thought, you know who makes a lot of informed decisions? My friend, Dr. Wallace. How you doing, Stephaun?
I'm fine. How are you?
It's a fabulous Monday here. You'll probably see this on another day, but it's Monday today. So let's get into it. Monkeypox. What was your initial take?
Child, here we go again.
Right? And then how about the oh yeah, so just so you know, people, it's only in men who have sex with men moment. You're like, 40 years later, we still doing this?
I recognize that it's the analogy that people often use about changing the direction of a ship.
Mm-hmm.
And that course correction takes time. You can't change the direction of a ship. You can't pivot on a dime. But at the same time, it's like, come on now.
I feel like this ship is like that cargo ship that got stuck in the Panama Canal.
I'm wondering if this is, at this point, I'm wondering if this is the Titanic and maybe we just need a different ship.
We need to upgrade ourselves, say no to big boats. Maybe a nice catamaran is in our future.
We need to be thinking and doing differently for sure.
And in this one, what do you wish people, we know what people in the masses are doing, which is why we're having this conversation, and what the intellectuals are doing, and they're like, oh, gasp my pearls and breath. But what do you think we actually need to tell people? What do folks really need to know right now? What are you telling people?
I'm telling people that this is something to be mindful of. Like any communicable disease, it's something to sort of be aware of, to get information about. It's important to read the information that's not in the headlines, that's not in the sensationalized headlines that often come across our screens and our iPhones, et cetera. And to go to trusted sources for information.
Yeah, I strangely enough my approach has been very similar, although I do it's Pride season. I know you all are looking to have the most of Pride, because last year you were a little hesitant, and then Delta came and done ruined everything for you. So just like the rest of Pride season, if I'm getting ready to go out and I know that I want to be able to do the most, whether I do the most or not, that's a whole different story. I feel like I should give my body a once over from time to time. Just check things, look for things, anything that's out of place, and note it. If something doesn't look like it normally does, maybe I should get that checked out. You think that's fair advice, or is that too much?
I think it is. I think it's important that we are monitoring our health in general. If you feel a cold coming on, if you feel congestion, these are things that you need to be paying attention to. This is your body telling you that you need to be doing something probably a little bit different. Whether that's the temperature or the the people, or your environment, or whatever that looks like, that there needs to be something differently done. But in addition to the physical stuff, I think the other piece of this is, and it isn't to change the conversation, but I think a lot of people hear gay men, MSM, they hear these terms, and if they don't identify in those categories, they dismiss the
Mhm.
information.
That's not
And I
me.
think
I've
that
never
to
been an
me,
MSM.
is the most critical issue that I think is needing to be addressed within the communication and messaging regarding all of this. Because we see this in every single iteration of something that happens in our communities, whether it's COVID-19 or what have you. Generally people like, oh, well, it only affects these groups of people. And, we talk about this with HIV, right? So it only affects these people over there, those people way over there, not these people sitting next to me. So I don't have anything to worry about. So um, we are repurposing the same messaging that has created stigma regarding other infectious diseases, and reconstituting that here with respect to monkeypox. And this is what I was saying before about maybe we need a different shit, because it seems like this course correction at the systems level is just taking so freaking long.
I mean, at this point, I could have had like 3, 4, 5 homes by now. Had an inspiring rap career, and maybe been a failed singer-songwriter who is now an actor.
It's absolutely insane. Um, but certainly besides cold and flu symptoms, people need to be mindful of any visible rashes or hives or anything that show up on your skin or your body. And if these are things that you're noticing, you might need to speak with your doctor, your physician, or go see a doctor about this in general.
I'll put a
This
shout
is,
out to the nurse practitioners and the physician assistants too as well there. Whoever your primary care, if you don't have a primary care, go to a clinic. You should have someone who is responsible for your care, who you know. You don't want to meet them the first time with whatever this is.
well, I mean, that may be the point of entry for some people.
Yeah.
But I do think that you're right. There are MPs and PAs and other folks who provide primary care in different jurisdictions. So, whoever your primary care, or whoever can provide primary care, essentially see someone and to get this looked at. And honestly, this is a recommendation, irrespective of whether monkeypox is a consideration or not. Like in my estimation, you would want to it would be important to check up on your health and know that if you are noticing rashes or hives or something pop up on your body, that you get that looked at. And so I would encourage anyone to do that.
Now this is weird, especially because I don't own a car, but a lot of people are familiar with cars, whether they own one or not. And I like to say,
Okay.
much like a car, every certain 1,000 miles or so, you need to get your oil change. Or if your car is making a funny noise, you want to maybe get that checked out. Very similar.
That analogy makes sense to those of us who are familiar with vehicles,
Yeah.
and who routinely get our vehicles maintained. But I can tell you that I also know people who are very familiar with vehicles, and who have lights on, and the oil and engine and check lights are on, and the tire pressure light is on, and all these sorts of things. And so, and this for a host of reasons, right? And so how do we continue to encourage and motivate our friends and our families to take the best care that they can, no matter what that looks like?
Well, I also like it in the, it's like when you open your fridge and something smells a little off, you start hunting about what smelled a little off, rather than
That's
just like,
important,
no, I'll just close this door and it will all go away.
If you put the wrong thing from your refrigerator in your body, you are certainly asking for more trouble than you were looking for.
But what do we do? It's Pride season. How do we? What will you do? I was on a call the other day, and someone was like, I said we should talk to promoters, and before I finished my sentence, someone said, well, club promoters don't want to talk at their events, and I was like, that's not what I was going to say. I was going to say we should talk to promoters about sending this out to their lists, but not doing it at their parties. Can we be preemptive with some of this messaging, rather than the normal way of approaching health for gay, bisexual, same gender loving men, and that other category that the CDC lumps us in, is we know you came to turn up. So we're going to show up at your turn up and we're going to give you terrible news. Sometimes we might give you a little good news, like when they come and say, we're offering free meningitis shots. That's good news. But when they be like, we're going to give you a life-altering diagnosis. Hey, how you doing? Bad news.
Yeah, I think the whole messaging around this, and again, I hate to keep sort of
Keep saying it. We're still
knocking
trying
at
to
this
turn the ship,
door,
Stephaun.
but I think we just need a different ship because it feels like we continue to have these same kinds of conversations. I recently heard that one of the apps, and I honestly don't know which because I don't subscribe to them, but one of the apps apparently has now a front-facing message informing people about monkeypox. And so when you log into the app, and I don't remember which one to be honest, but one of the popular ones. And so when you log in, as soon as you go to the main screen, there's this window that pops up that says, monkeypox information, some general stuff. And then if you want more information, you can click here, which I think is great. Will promoters do more? Can they do more? Should they do more? We're having conversations about morality versus sort of ethics and obligations and all of that. And I think from a community perspective, many people would say that there is an obligation to inform people about what's happening. So the question is, how is that done in much the way that you just described? I think it's probably good to share the information before people arrive or as you're promoting the event. But then the question is will they read it? Will they see it? But my response to that is, well, there's 100% chance that they won't see it at all if you don't share it.
Yeah. There is literally no option for them to make any decisions if it never got to them.
Exactly. So.
And tell me that same group, when was the last time you went to your health department's website and said, let me just see what's going on?
Yeah, who just browses the health department's website to see what new trending diseases are emerging in our communities?
I mean, some of you, I know, some of you have been on
do, but
real hard lockdown and COVID and are trying to live the good bubble life. But I'm going to think that the majority of you, just putting it out there, are probably turning out for Pride. And I say that because I've seen the photos. Y'all act like Black Pride didn't just happen in DC. I saw the photos.
Yeah. And, again, if you notice some sores or some hives or rashes pop up, definitely avoid physical and sexual contact with the person until you get that checked out and until you get it resolved, really. And to also note that, there's a couple of other things that are happening in the background, and you being a policy person, I know you can appreciate this. One is that testing is rolling out very slowly about this.
Always.
And the second part is that, there's still some conversation around which vaccine to use, whether it's smallpox or, another vaccine that's being tested. So listen, I think the most important thing that people can do is just to be aware that this is happening. And again, if you see rashes or hives or something pop up, just to go get checked out. And if you see them on your partner or your friend, do the hey girl, hey, pull them to the side. Don't, call them out in front of the whole world. And let them know this is something that I'm concerned about and you should get checked out, and, go with them if that's needed, to provide support.
Are you talking about a community of care, looking out for one another?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, this is why we rarely call you Dr. Wallace. You will always be Stephaun for us. The man may study diseases and the spread of them, but he's always team community. And actually, technically, everyone's team community because you're all part of the community. Now, some of you don't act like it, but that's a whole nother story. But I would say, it is so important to just learn to be slightly aware so you can have a better outcome. I want you to live your best, most fabulous, pride-filled life. What I don't want you to have to do is have monkeypox, and because you said, well, I never heard of this before. And then all of a sudden I had all these pus-filled sores over my body. And then in the most disgusting way fashionable, they popped. And then I might have scars afterwards, although most people won't get scars. But it's still gross. And it's still just like a little information, create a whole, I'd rather not have a situation.
And who might you have, come in contact with during that process?
Yep. And I will say right now, especially for folks in the community who like to have sex in the rear compartment, as the scientists like to say, if you put it in the butt, sometimes this can look like herpes, genital warts. Someone even almost said scabies, which, okay. But some common STIs can present, and it's just a sore-to-sore contact. Skin touching sores, all you need to transfer it. So just much like I tell my lady friends that it's good to get a compact and check your undercarriage from sometimes, everybody should check their booty from sometimes. Just even if you're just admiring it a little bit, like, ooh, those squats were hitting today. Yeah. But know your body. Know your body so that at the end of the day, you can at least make an informed choice. Because so often than not, especially our community, is denied the opportunity to make a choice. We are just told what's happening to us. We're not told why it's happening to us. And our ability to be an active consumer or participate in our own care is often ignored. So that's why I want to have this discussion. So you can be aware. And we can maybe change some things for different. Because we can't trust these Titanic girls to save us. They already hit the iceberg. They slowly sinking. And they got people like Rose saying, I'm sorry, Jack, I'll never let go, but there's no room on this big old board for both of us. Go find my jewel.
I think that in addition to that, we need to normalize having conversations about this, and not just monkeypox in general, but normalize having conversations about our health and our wellness, checking in with people. Have you checked your undercarriage today? I like that term. Have you checked your rear compartment? I checked mine today. Have you checked yours? And normalizing these conversations as part of our everyday exchanges, I think would help as well.
You check your friend and they ask if they had a cough or they weren't in, that you haven't seen them in a minute. And you say, you okay? Are you sick? And this time of COVID, we've all been asking each other, like, did you get sick? Did you get sick with COVID? Oh my God, how bad was the COVID? But maybe we should just care like 10% more about our health. You want to be at peak physical efficiency so you can have the best good goddamn time imaginable. And that means knowing what your body's doing, where your body's at, and how your body's performing. So just tuck in on it. That's all I'm asking. Well, I think we covered a lot of ground in a short amount of time. I know people don't like to listen to long podcasts too long or long discussions too long. This will be on YouTube. I promise in the notes below, there will be links to information about monkeypox for those who want to know further thoughts, feelings about them. As always, you can reach out to us at the Center for Black Equity. We want everyone to have an amazing Pride season. I'm going to kick it to my friend, Dr. Wallace, for any final thoughts, opinions, music.
I want everyone to have an amazing time. We are literally living in some of the most interesting times of our history. And any opportunity that we can to come together, socially, romantically, or otherwise. Please be safe. Please do so with consent and enjoy yourselves and each other.
Thank you all. This was a great conversation.